What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I am extremely pumped up for today's video. So a little while back I started talking to someone that was telling me about this Camaro that someone started to big block swap, but it's been abandoned for over a decade. So the other day we took a ride up there, rolled it out of the little tiny garage that it was tucked away in, and checked this thing out. I ended up buying it for an absolute steal. So today we're gonna hook up the truck and trailer, go grab this thing, bring it home, get it all cleaned up and rolled in the garage so that we can start assessing what we need to get this big block fired up. So let's get through the intro and jump right into today's video. Now that we've gotten through the intro, let's get this thing fired up. We'll head up there and check this thing out. Alright guys, so we've got the trailer hooked up and we are on our way to go check this thing out. Pretty excited to pick this thing up and show it to you guys. So we should be there in just a minute and we will check this thing out and get it loaded up on the trailer. So here she is, boys. We're the proud new owner of a mullet machine. This thing's pretty sweet. It's a little rough, primer gray obviously, but as you guys can tell, the best part, she's got a big block sitting in her. So we definitely got some work ahead of us to get this thing ready to fire. But it's been sitting a long time and I'll show you guys a whole bunch more about it once we get home. Kind of sucks that it's a T-top car, but for what we got this thing for, you really can't complain. Someone was definitely trying to go race car with it, but we're gonna try to finish what they started. There's a whole bunch of cool old stuff in here that I'll show you guys once we get it to the house. Someone back in the day was definitely putting some time and work into this thing. So super excited about it though. Body looks really good shape. Primer gray once again, like I said, but let's see if these tires will hold some air, get the trailer backed over here and get this thing home. Let's go ahead and give it a try. It'll be a miracle if this thing holds air, but we're gonna give it a shot and see what happens. Don't have much faith in this one, guys. Oh, it's doing something. It's going. It's going. I can't believe it.
Back a hair more, or go out there right there? Fine. Right there.
If anything, you could even go forward.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good, all right, good.
Oh, your battery box is pissed off.
That thing's screaming.
So as you guys seen, we went and picked up our new Camaro and we just got it back to the house. So I want to give you guys a quick walk around of this thing. I know we looked at it when we were over there, but I'm actually pretty stoked for this. So like I already had mentioned, the best part about this car and what really got my attention is that someone already started to swap a big block into it with a turbo 400 transmission. So it's definitely rough, it definitely needs some work, but I think it's gonna end up being a very fun project. We could always yank the big block out and slap an LS in it, but I think we're gonna try to roll with the big block for now. Now, as you guys could see when we looked at it over there, the other side had a tire that was completely shredded. So we'll have to do something about that before we get it off the trailer, but it's got a big block in here. So supposedly this is a 396 big block that someone worked over to a 402, which was pretty common back in the day. Now this thing has been sitting for 10 years. So a guy bought it, started doing a bunch of work to it and wanted to make it kind of like a race car, and he got sick, couldn't do the work, and it just sat. So that's where we came along. Someone mentioned it to us, and as soon as I heard big block and Camaro, I had to go look at it. And like I said, for the price that we have into this, we couldn't have bought the transmission or the engine, so couldn't really say no. Like I said, it is a T-Tops car, sadly, but we've got some workarounds to that to try to make it a little bit safer and make it legal for the track at some point. But all in all, I'm just pumped for the big block. I've always wanted a turbo big block, so not exactly the Gen Camaro I wanted, but turbo big block Camaro has always been on my bucket list. So super excited to get started on this thing. Now, like I said, the tire on the other side was completely blown out, and to be honest with you, these wheels just aren't really my style or what I would put on this car, but they were going to be good enough to roll it around on. So we went digging out back, and I had some extra wheels. I think these are just like the Jegs Weld knockoff ones, and luckily they were the same bolt pattern, and we even had some lug nuts laying around for it, so we went ahead and threw those on there. Do have the center caps, didn't see if it fits yet, but that should make it a little bit easier for us to roll this thing around, and personally I just like how it looks better. So I am going to go ahead, throw the other side on, get the wheel on that side so that the skinnies match up front, and I do have a set of 15 by 10.5s I think for the rear, so we'll be good to go as far as wheels go for now, just to get this thing rolling around and looking a little bit better. As you guys can tell, there's still a whole bunch of work to be done. We've got to check the engine placement and all that stuff. So for now though, it'll look good and roll around, and this thing definitely needs some cleaning up. So let's get the other wheel swapped on there and then see if we're going to roll it off the trailer now or start power washing it. All right guys, so since the other side looked so good with our Jegs wheel on it, we're going to go ahead and get this one pulled off too. And that got me to thinking, I think we're just going to pull all of them off so that we can list them on Facebook Marketplace, try to get some of our money back that we're into this thing, and then someone could clean them up, paint them black, and they'd be perfectly good wheels. Just not really my vibe. So we'll go ahead and get this one pulled off, get the other one swapped on, and this thing's going to be looking better already. They even had these like race style shanked lug nuts on them. You can cut them down to length. We run these on the Hellcat and any high horsepower stuff, so hang on to these, use them on another project. Go ahead and get this one pulled off. It's a funky looking knuckle. Looks a little strange, but I mean it's possible, I guess.
It'll be fine.
Maybe that's just how they are.
Maybe. Stuff back then in the 80s was weird.
Oh, that's interesting. See, I wonder if the center cap fits.
About to find out. Ooh, man.
It's like these things were made for it, man. I had them on the GTO, which is slightly a different size, so I was worried they weren't gonna fit. Hell yeah. Give it that nice old school look. we've already got this thing looking twice as good as it did before we even rolled it off the trailer. So let's go ahead and get these things swapped out, and we'll see what it looks like. Need some TBMs for this baby. Hell yeah. That thing looks sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and set it down. That stood it right up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that thing's gonna look sweet. Someone must have put heavier springs in the front because it's sitting pretty tall, and with that big block in this car, I thought it would be sitting down on the ground. So I'm thinking someone already started messing with springs. We already found some goodies underneath it that I'll show you guys later, but I'm super pumped about them. It's some stuff that I was gonna buy for this car. So super happy that it's already got it on there. But let's go ahead and get the rear one switched out and see what this thing really is gonna look like.
There we go.
Off with the old, on with the other old.
Yeah.
Any center caps? No.
No. Oh,
Hitting.
yeah, right here.
Damn.
That tab.
Dang.
Damn it, dude.
What's it hitting? Oh, this?
Yep. It was hitting right here. Leave it there. Let's see what it looks like. Back up a little bit. See what it looks like in full drag. Oh, shit.
We'll just have to find a different offset wheel, I guess. One that's more...
Out.
Yeah, more offset. Well, I guess that's out for now. So let's go ahead and throw the old ones back on it, and then we're ready to start cleaning this thing up. So it's been a little while since we brought the Camaro home, and due to other projects and the weather, we just haven't had a chance to work on that thing. But today we're gonna get the GTO rolled outside, get the Camaro unloaded off the trailer, and start taking a look at what all we're gonna need to get ordered up to try to get that big block fired up for the very first time. Now that I've got the truck hooked back up to the trailer, we're gonna pull this thing forward. I'm gonna get my power washer out and give this thing a quick rinse just to clean it up. It was sitting in that garage for a long time and it's pretty nasty. So we'll give this thing a quick clean before we unload it, and then we can start seeing what all we're gonna need to get this big block running. So as you guys see, we went ahead and got the truck and trailer pulled up here. This thing's pretty grimy and dirty from sitting in that garage. Same with the engine bay, a little greasy and grimy, but I went ahead and covered up any openings going into the passenger compartment, as well as any openings that would let water into the engine. So we've got this thing sealed up pretty good. We've got the power washer out. We're gonna hit the car first, and then we'll come into the engine bay with some more aggressive chemicals to try to get this thing cleaned up. So as you guys seen when we went to pick this thing up, it was pretty nasty and dusty and grimy. Now this thing was abandoned inside a garage for over a decade, so it got pretty dirty, but luckily at least it was inside. We had this thing rolled outside, but it was covered with a tarp until we brought it home. Once we brought it home, I just covered the engine and I left the car uncovered, and we did get some snow, which actually helped clean it off quite a bit. Otherwise, the whole car looked like the spoiler when we first picked it up. But we just wanted to get this thing hit with the foam can and get it washed off so that once we have it in the garage, it's a little bit less nasty to work on. So let's get it rolled in and get to work. So as you guys seen, we hit the whole car with the foam cannon and then I scrubbed it down real quick. We're not going for a full detail here. I'm just trying to get some of the grime and some of the stains off of it. But it actually cleaned up pretty good. This primer gray is growing on me. Didn't think I'd like it, but it actually looks pretty good like this. So obviously we still got to clean the hood and stuff, but just wanted to get it cleaned up before we roll it in the garage. Now that we've got the Camaro all cleaned up, it's still sitting back there on the trailer, but I want to get the GTO fired up, roll it out, put the winter wheels on it, then we can get this thing out of our way and bring the Camaro in to finally start diving into this big block. So as you guys seen, we got the GTO rolled out of the garage so we can swap on our winter tires. But just in case you guys are new to the channel, we picked this car up as a completely gutted and stripped roller. There was no engine, no transmission, no interior, rear end, or suspension, or brakes. And we got all of that stuff switched over to this car and then made a charge piping kit for our Pro Charger. Got this thing pretty dialed in and it's been an absolute blast. There's a whole playlist dedicated to the GTO, so make sure to go back and check it out. But one of the most recent things we've added to this car is a set of Speedlab cutouts with a MagnaFlow muffler. So obviously right now they're closed, but if we go ahead and open those things up, as you guys can see, it comes right to life, and this thing sounds so good with that BTR cam. So I'm gonna go ahead and close those back up for now. We'll get the winter wheels rolled over here, get them swapped onto the car, then we can get to work on our new Camaro project. So now that we've got the truck and trailer pulled up, we can finally start unloading this thing. We're just gonna nose it in over here, and then we can try pushing it backwards into the garage so that we can get to the engine bay a little bit easier. So let's start letting the winch out and see what happens. All right guys, so as you seen last night, we got the Camaro unloaded off the trailer and we were able to get it pushed up in the garage. I had a buddy stop by and give us a hand because this thing does not roll that great. But now that we finally got it in our garage, let's go ahead and take a closer look at this thing. I haven't given you guys many details about it, so we're just gonna do a quick walk around and a quick breakdown of what I know about this car so far. Warning you now, I don't know a whole lot about it. We got this thing so cheap that it was just one of those deals. I could part it out and make much more than what I paid for it. So we figured we'd pick it up and see if this thing is worth completing. So first thing that we notice obviously is that it does have that big block in it. Now I don't know a whole lot about this particular big block other than it's a Mark IV and it's supposedly a 396 that someone reworked over to a 402. Now I'm not sure exactly how they did that. Supposedly it's fresh, never been fired, and it went to a local machine shop here that we know pretty well. But once again, I haven't even taken a valve cover off or dived into it too much. Now there are some major issues I see with this swap already from the way they started doing it. So if we look down in here, not sure how well you guys are gonna be able to see, but right down here there are some Moroso engine mounts, and this is still a stock cross-member car. Everything is pretty much stock as far as the cross members and transmission mounts, stuff like that. But it does have some Moroso mounts on it, which after doing some research, Moroso does make a mount kit to put a big block in this car with the stock cross member. I'm just not sure if those are the correct ones, because if you look down in there, it's pretty well offset off the cross member itself. So we're definitely gonna have to do some placement work to get this thing dialed in where it needs to be. Now if we come over to this side, we can see a little bit more of the same. Let me grab a light real quick. So over on this side, you guys can see just about the same. That engine mount is well off where it should be for the mounting pad on the cross member. So we've definitely got some placement work to do, try to get this thing sitting where it needs. Now, obviously the headers are just on there very loosely. The intake manifold does seem to be tightened down. The water pump is on there loose, and the distributor is just sitting in there. Does seem to be a brand new MSD Pro billet. Now, if we look back here, again, not sure if you guys are actually going to be able to see it, but down in there where the bell housing meets the block, there's a pretty big gap on this side. The other side's pretty close, but this side's got a real big gap. So that's one of the main things of why I think we're going to do what we're about to do here. So the plan right now is to start pulling the transmission and the engine out, because I know absolutely nothing about the transmission that's in this car other than what I was told. Now, I was told it's a turbo 400 transmission, which would be ideal, but once again, for all I know, they could have just slapped a turbo 350 in there. So we are going to go ahead and start taking this thing apart. Now, as far as the rear end goes, I believe it's a stock 10 bolt. It does seem to have a posi in it, or some sort of spool or mini spool or something along those lines. And it does have a really nice BMR rear suspension kit. So it's got a nice torque arm and some other arms back there, which I'll show you guys later in the build series on this car when we get to that point. But for now, my main concern is just to get this big block fired up. I am going to pull this thing out. We're going to pull the transmission out. We're going to set it up on an engine stand, take a look at it, and just see what's going on with it. Now, if we don't have to, I probably won't pull the heads, but we're definitely going to pull a valve cover, see what the valve train looks like, and then we'll pull the oil pan off and see what's going on in there. We should be able to get an idea of what kind of rebuild they did on this thing, if it's even a fresh rebuild. Take a look at the rods and see what they're working with. Now, as far as the interior goes, I'm not going to go too crazy into detail on it. It's pretty well stripped and it's pretty rough. But once again, that's all stuff that we can work with as we go along here. So if we take a peek in here, just real quick, it does have some sort of cage that it looks like a kit they probably bought online. But sadly, this is the worst part for me, is we are going to have to cut this cage out because it just does not look like it's welded in there very good at all. So instead of trying to fix that cage, I'm probably just going to go ahead and cut it out. And then obviously we have a whole bunch of work to do with the rest of the interior. Now we've got a bunch of pieces in here and in the trunk back here, as well as out in my carport that came with this car. So we've got just about everything to put the interior back together, except for some minor trim pieces. They all need some good cleaning, but other than that, we've got just about everything we need. So like I said, not going to worry about the interior really at all right now. Main concern is getting this big block set back in here and fired up back in its proper location. So we've definitely got a whole bunch of work ahead of us, but it's definitely all doable. So that's what we're going to get to work on next in the next video. So make sure to stick around and let me know if you guys like the Camaro project so far. Obviously in this video, we really just picked it up, got it cleaned up, and are taking a look at it. But in the next video, we're going to dive into this thing and start tearing it apart. So as always, I appreciate you guys for checking out the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and check us out on all of our other social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, and Bought to Build Official on Instagram. And we will catch you on the next one.